Alright, so awkwardly enough, one of the creepier things about my journey here is finding all of these old, like, temporary campsites. And there's a few of them in this field, man. There's a dozen. In the field right behind the tree line, I was just filming. There's like a dozen of these little temporary camping spots. And what's weird is, like, all of these dudes, whoever they were on the same journey as me. It's the same materials, the same stuff. And I keep finding. And it's just, there's too much symmetry, you know? I love using that word when it's real, and right now there's so much symmetry. There's a frickin' heroin needle, though. Gross. Could have been after the fact, but I don't know. I keep finding these little camping zones, and they're cool. That's my bag right there, but still, you see what I mean, though. That backpack was hanging in the tree. That's what caught my attention over here. Man, there's so much cool shit to fucking talk about, but whenever I actually hit the record button, my words jumble and I can't verbalize my vocabulary for shit, and I end up sounding like a freaking idiot, stumbling over my own words. Yes, I am that Daniel, actually. Angelina Jolie's fire tiger, the one with probably one of the higher IQs on the planet during these days. God has his hand in things. The God of Israel. That one, not the airplane. Just pointing to the sky. Like, and he's, I don't know. Job 41 is also about me. So is a certain book, very reminiscent. But also Revelation actually talks a lot about me. I mean to spoil it, it's just, you know, I sit on these things to talk about, and they eat me alive not saying them. So I verbalize them, and some tweaking idiot swine somewhere being propped up by the Illuminati keeps stealing all of my intelligence to seem intelligent. The problem is most of the public knows. It's totally Barabbas again. Release to us Barabbas. Crucify that one. It's happening again. Only this time I'm a tiger with a dragon on the inside. Not the passive lion. These idiots want to try to crucify me. I'm going to turn counties into ash before they ever get close to injuring me. I was talking in a video that I was about to post. Something kept me from going into town. And the reason they're not coming at me physically is because they know. They come at me physically, the ribbon's cut, I get to go apeshit Rambo and unfold everything. Right now, if I went apeshit Rambo, I'm just going to be seen as a psychotic. So, patience is key. But it is impressive. I got to give the Illuminati that much. It's impressive how widespread, how reach they are. They're in every direction, not just north, south, east, west. They're diagonally as well. Regardless of what I do, if I get up and do anything or I don't get up and do anything, they have 100 scripts ready to go just in case. So it's a little difficult to keep up, you know. I'm dealing with all kinds of situations that I'm going to have to dissect over time because I can't just blurt it all out in one video. Very reminiscent of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy, something I went through recently. The Lompoc Riverbed turned into a freaking catastrophe. It's non-stop girls and women. Planes are still in the sky. Maybe you're curious about what that noise was. But try as I might to tell the local police, the sheriffs, even random people walking down the bike trail, all I ever seem to have gotten met with were these giant, stupid, ear-to-ear grins. Like they already knew I was going to come walking up and asking them for help, and it's reminiscent of the Chainsaw Massacre guy. Dude was hacking people to death for 20 years before the sheriffs finally went into that basement. And then what'd they find? Bodies from floor to ceiling. There's no telling how many times somebody went and run into the sheriff's talking about a crazy guy with a chainsaw. So I don't know what it is about this truth denial syndrome that's washed over the planet since I was last out and about, but it's the case. The truth is instantly snubbed at, and sometimes blatantly, asininely, in favor of whatever deception gets laid before them. So I don't know, like, there's a line in the Bible that's really, it hits me on like 15 different levels. It's, even if you were raised from the dead, they would by no means believe you. The older version of that is a little more correct. If ye were to come back to life from the other side, they would by no means accept you. It's like they've got their little niche, and they all know they're going to hell, and they're dancing the entire way there until that heat starts touching their skin, and then all of a sudden they're back to being victims. Same thing with these people that do the most satanic things possible, and they don't even feel bad about it until you kick their door open. Then all of a sudden they have the audacity to get that wide-eyed, cow-mouthed expression of surprise, and a lot of times they seem offended, you know? See, man, you're trying to keep a brother down. What? Fuck, man, that's why I didn't become a sheriff, dude. I did the Sheriff's Explorer program for a little bit with this girl that I thought was really cute. And once I realized what I was getting into, I couldn't do it. I'd start killing people, but anyway. It really does seem like I've been given this camera and a shit ton of memory chips to start documenting the apocalypse. I know that sounds ridiculous. I know a lot of guys have probably done it. But when you're on a trail and you keep finding the breadcrumbs, what am I supposed to do? Stop? And situations like this are kind of eerie. Makes me wonder if I'm not going crazy, but I found a few things that I've been lacking, and to find it here, dude, I'd have to show you just how ridiculous it was to get to this spot, because we're surrounded by trees. The trail is overgrown. Whoever used to camp here for a little bit was well over a year ago. You can see the level of dirt. I've been homeless a lot in the wild, so I know what the wilderness does. It's just freaking cool, dude. But anyway, I'm just gonna have to keep doing this by bit. I'm sorry. Maybe it's God's way of keeping this agnomatic. Stop. He won't let me just run with my speech. Normally words fly off my tongue like a whip. But the last couple of years, he's been having me stutter, and I don't understand it. And I think it's his way of trying to keep what's going on encoded. He doesn't want everybody knowing the world is about to come to an end. I mean, we got birds falling out of the sky. We got the ozone layer collapsing. The oceans are choked, poisoned. Fish are bubbling up to the ocean by the millions. And this was all back in like 2012 when I first started looking into it. 50,000 head of cattle fall over dead in the middle of the night with no explanation. Bees have started. Never mind. He's got me stuttering. It's time for me to move on.